Welcome to Elevate Springfield, where we will dive into strategies and stories that help you rise to your full potential. Each episode, we'll talk about how you can take intentional steps to elevate your life and your business while making a meaningful impact on those around you. Along the way, we're going to bring in the change makers from our community that are already elevating. We'll bring the actionable strategies, you bring the discipline and follow through, and together we can elevate Springfield. All right, let's go Springfield. Hey, Robert Farrell here, certified 10X coach, mentor, and speaker. You are listening to Elevate Springfield, where we're going to bring you actionable strategies. You bring the discipline and follow through, and together we're going to elevate Springfield. Hey, it's going to be another great week in the capital city and another great episode here on the show. We've got Beni Harmony joining us today. A lot of great stuff that we discussed. Looking forward to bringing you those tips that she has for you and all the great work that she's been doing over the past year on Marketplace. So, hey, let's get right to it. Beni Harmony after the break. Looking for the pulse of Central Illinois? Welcome to News Channel 20's Marketplace, your go-to source for lifestyle news and everything community. They're shining a spotlight on local stories, small businesses, and the people who make our neighborhoods thrive. Join Beni Harmony weekdays at 11:30 on Marketplace, where heart meets hometown. It's more than news, it's your community. All right, and
we're live.
Yes, indeed. I've got a special guest in here, the face, and more than just the face, the behind the scenes, the everything for News Channel 20's Marketplace, Miss Beni Harmony. How we doing today?
I'm great, Robert. How are you?
Phenomenal.
I'm so excited to see this getting picked up. I think this is phenomenal what you're doing.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'm excited to have you here today.
I'm excited to be here.
Well, why don't we start with just learning a little bit more about you? Everybody sees you on TV. They might think they know you from seeing you on TV so much, but let's hear a little bit about your background, you know?
Yeah, so I'm originally from here, so this is my home, my community. When I was 18, I moved away to Arizona to go to college. I was out there for one semester before I got an offer from a congressman to move to Washington, D.C. And I've always been just extremely driven. Like, I never knew what that word meant, though. I just knew, like, oh, there's so much to do. I just want to do it. I want to do it. And so I called my mom when I was in Arizona. I'm like, I'm moving to Washington. Well, I'm 18 years old, so I'm going to need a little bit of help, right?
Absolutely.
And one thing my parents always did was they always encouraged me. And even when they were like, oh my gosh, here we go again. Here we go. There was always that support and having that support system. So I moved to Washington, kind of worked my way up, interned, then got a job for another congressman. And then I was like, I'm 19, I'm 20 years old. I'm in these really high pressured environments. And I was like, I love this. I was like, but I need to go experience something else. I never wanted to feel like I was being shaped by other people and they were creating who I was going to be and what I believed in and what my view of the world was. I was like, I really need to take a step away and learn, what do I believe in? Not what people are telling me to believe in, but genuinely like Beni's soul. So I moved to Nashville. I decided, you know what? I'm going to go be a kid. I'm going to go move to Nashville.
Yeah.
Figured out that drinking and all that was not of interest to me. But that's where I really fell in love with storytelling. And I credit Nashville for a lot of the success that I've had, because if it wasn't for becoming friends with these songwriters, these people that write poetry and turn it into art, I would have never learned how to properly tell a story and really connect with people. And just like lyrics, that's a story. So I ended up moving back home in 2023 from Nashville. My mom was diagnosed with cancer and moved back home. I started working at Newhoff Media with 99.7 The Mix, which is not really a thing anymore as of just a couple days ago. And I created a podcast called On the Rise Radio. And I was like, this is my opportunity to help people discover new artists. We hear the same artist on the radio every single day. I just fell in love with talking. I fell in love with informing, teaching, all the things you love too.
Absolutely.
And I was there for about a year, and then I decided that I just wanted more. I was like, I've learned all I can. The growth has come to an end here. I've reached my ceiling. And so my bags were all packed in my car to move back to DC. And News Channel 20 called me and was like, hey, we have this opening. We've talked to you in the past about doing something, but we have this opening that we think you would be perfect for. And I'm like, what is it? They're like, community. And I was like, okay, tell me more. What do you mean? They're like, we want you to be our community local host and reporter. They're like, you're from here. You know this community. You know how to connect with people in this community in ways that we don't. Would you want it? And I was like, yeah. I was like, there was a reason my bags were packed in my car, but I couldn't leave. Every day I was set to leave. I would just procrastinate. I'll just wait one more day. Mother's Day's coming up. I want to be here for this holiday. And that's when I really realized I was being kept here for a reason. And Marketplace was that reason.
Let's go. And you've absolutely crushed it since then.
I love it. I'm almost at a year.
Yeah.
And I'm on a 2-year contract. So a lot of people ask me all the time, oh, you're going to just leave us like everybody else leaves us. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I just know that there's still stories to be told here, and that's why I'm here.
Absolutely. Whether you're here or elsewhere, I know you're going to do a phenomenal job telling those stories of wherever you're
I appreciate that.
So
yeah.
Let's hop back to Nashville real quick. Were you working with the songwriters, or were you just friends with them and you picked up their way of storytelling?
So I was actually in artist management.
Okay.
So I managed a few up-and-coming artists, and that gave me the full circle of management, business. You're working with record labels, right? You're working with people that are really just caring about the revenue and the money. How much money can this artist bring in from me? But then you really tap into that social media aspect. TikTok. That's when like all these artists were blowing up on TikTok. How can we connect with people? How can we strategically tell something and make people interested? And then I started writing poetry. So then I started sitting with these artists and I'm like, how do we lay out a song? And I really I put myself in with them. So I'm managing it, but I'm also kind of their friend. But I had that I came from DC, right? Where I became very strategic in communications. That's what I did when I was in DC.
And you have to be strategic there.
Well, it's like, okay, here's the congressman's message. How can we tell it to normal, everyday people that are struggling and working every single day, aren't happy? How can we show them we're working for them? And yeah, but I would say I've just always been a listener. And I would just sit at these dive bars when I was in Nashville with my artist friends and just listen to them. Listen to them talk, listen to them share ideas. And that's, I really think, where I became so collaborative. I was always very hyper independent and very like, I don't need anyone. My ideas are great. I don't need anyone. I can do it myself.
Sure.
And it taught me how to work with people and how important a team is. You're only as talented as the people around you.
Completely agree. I love the storytelling aspect of music in general. I mean, it's been the storytelling medium for hundreds of years, and it's phenomenal.
I hear podcasts all the time that people say, if you don't have a story, you have nothing.
Mm-hmm.
If you do not have something to tell people, you have literally nothing. Master your story. Master what every one of us has a story. And if you're not telling your story, you're not living life to the fullest. Mm-hmm. Don't be afraid to tell it. That is what will make you successful in whatever you want to do, is your story.
Absolutely. I say that to students all the time.
Okay.
I work with my Explore for Success group, and I tell adults out there, hey, tell your story. Tell the kids your story. They don't know what they don't know. They don't know all the different paths people take. They feel like that we as adults sometimes get to our chosen career in a straight line, when for most of it, it's one of these numbers,
the same stories that have been written in the history books. Yeah. And that's all you hear. You hear the same quotes. You hear the same story about this person that conquered this. It's time for new. Yeah. And this one day, all the things that are happening will be the history that is being taught. Mm-hmm. But I think we really need to pay attention to individuality, and each person has a special message to tell, and they need to tell it.
And that's why I love doing this.
Yes.
Getting to hear stories like yours.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit more about DC. What did you really like about that atmosphere there? And I know the storytelling, but what was it about DC that drew you there in the first place? And then what'd you like about it?
Yeah, so I'm going to be real honest with you, Robert. I am attracted to chaos.
Okay.
Okay? Growing up, I never knew why I wanted to be wherever there was something happening. I was like, I need to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's an ambulance. Let's follow it. Oh, there's whatever's happening. I'm like, I need to see what's happening. And in DC, that was every day. And it was so exhilarating. But that adrenaline can take hold of you sometimes and you lose track of what your real purpose is, you know? And I still struggle with that to this day. Being in news and being in media, I can't find peace. But part of me feels like I wasn't put on this earth to have peace. I was put on this earth to find the chaos. And this is where I'm going to be 100% honest. You know, I'm really in this identity crisis right now because I've lived so many lives just since I was 18 years old. And politics and government is still a part of me. And I love it. And I love fighting for what I believe in. But then there's the part of me that is like, I just want to sit and meditate. And I just want to sit and be in silence. But then I do so much work with the first responders that I'm like, I just want to be at a scene. Let's report on something. Let's bring the news.
Those are amazing, by the way. Those spots you do with them are really cool.
It's definitely my passion because those are the unsung heroes. And they're the ones that's their job every day and they don't get any attention for it. Like they are just the ones that deal with chaos. And the next day they're expected to be normal, just like with tragedy. They're seeing all this stuff just like recently and they're expected in one day to be fine. But I would say what I loved about DC was you're really in the center of everything. You're in the center of decision making. You're in the center of the people that are making your laws. There's a lot of wrong in that, but also you feel like you can really make a change. And I would say that's what I loved about DC the most.
Oh, I bet. And like you said, the chaos in the midst of all the power, you got to feel the kind of that palpable energy of power there too, I would imagine.
Yeah. And I don't know how people don't get tired of it is the thing. But also, once you get a taste of that power, the things power can do to you is not good. You have to be able to balance it and be able to ground yourself. This power cannot overtake your life or you will be miserable. Almost every single person that I ran into in DC hated their life. The surface level conversations. When you go to these networking events in DC, the only thing that you're doing is, hi, this is what I have. What do you have? How can we help each other? It's not, who are you as a person? Tell me about the meaning of life. Tell me about your motto of life. There was no real relationship.
Yeah.
And that's what's lacking in our political, in our business world.
So transactional and no real connection.
Transactional, no real connection. And that's what I've really learned recently and what I've really been trying to put into my work and teach people. I don't do these first responder stuff because, you know, I'm an ambulance chaser. I do these because there is so much depth in it that people need to hear. And it's one of those things that there's always another story to be told.
No doubt about it. So people know you from being in front of the camera, but tell us about your whole scope of what you do in your role.
Yeah, so I am the executive producer, host, and reporter for our marketplace show, which is a 30 to 45 minute show. My show is more lifestyle. It's more community. I don't like to really look at myself as hard news or lifestyle. I'm kind of right in the middle. I tell the stories that need to be told. And so a day in my job, it's very different every day, but I produce the whole show. So when you say produce, what people don't understand is I am creating what I'm going to read, where a lot of news anchors, a lot of anchors in general, they don't create anything. They get the script and they read it. They're not reading their own words. I have full creative control. I can talk about whatever I want to talk about as long as it's not really hard. And like people come to the marketplace show for a breath of fresh air. Sure. Oh my gosh, I never knew about that in our community. I've created, since I took it over in last August, it's as local as it can get. Whereas before it wasn't. It was a lot of national stuff. So I go in, I write my scripts, I send my editor the pictures, the video, everything that I want to be in the show, everything you see on the screen, I have put that into the system, and then I host the show, which consists of standing at a desk, reading the teleprompter, but then also having to ad lib. And I have someone in my ear telling me, you have 30 seconds, 5, 4, 3, and I have to hurry before they cut me off air. Like today, for example, it wasn't on the show, but because the new pope was selected, we had live cut-ins every about 5 minutes. So I'd be like, breaking news, we're still here seeing from the Vatican. They have not showed the face of the new pope yet. And then it's being able to really, you have to really be adaptable and being able to transition really quickly. And I'm really good at change. I get bored really fast. And so this job is the perfect mix of that because it's always changing. The news can change in a heartbeat.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
There could be a severe weather and all of a sudden I'm talking about meteorology. So I would say don't get into this career field if you are not good with change and chaos because you're never really sitting in the same place for too long.
Right. I think people don't realize how difficult is that. I mean, you have always somebody in your ear, and how difficult is that to keep to keep that, and keep going with what you're doing when you have somebody in your ear all the time.
I would say it goes back to the identity crisis that I mentioned because you have people constantly telling you what to do. You have people constantly telling you what to read, what to post, what to say, how to dress, what to act like, be more you, be less you, fix your hair, do this. You get to a point where you're like, who in the heck am I? That's where I'm at right now. This is fully authentic. I have absolutely no idea who I am, Robert, because I'm two people. And people always say, we want the real Beni. Okay, but I don't really know what that is. And I would say that is the struggle of having someone in your ear constantly because it's not just your production directors, it's your news directors, it's your management. It's management bringing you something saying you need to do this. It's really important. Well, you already have 15 things to do. It's hard. It's really hard. Yeah. And it takes a certain type of personality to be able to do it. But I'll say that I don't even know what quiet is anymore because I don't even have my own head. I have someone filling my thoughts in my head. Mm-hmm. But it's also a beautiful thing. I've developed such an incredible bond with my team because I have to count on these people and they have to count on me. When I'm mispronouncing something or saying the wrong thing, they're in my ear. They could let me look like a complete fool. They could make me look like an idiot if they wanted to. They could scroll the teleprompter too fast and make me skip words. And so you build these bonds and this trust. And I think that's the most important thing in media and news specifically, not just with your team, but with the people you're talking to. They have to trust you to tell their story and trust you to get their information from you. I would say trust is the foundation of everything.
And I mean, and when you talk so much, when you have so many interviews, it's so easy to mispronounce stuff here and there, say things wrong and all that. And it's so easy when you talk that much. It's so easy, and to have somebody there that has your back and
always. And I mean, I'm so grateful. Thad, Matt, my production people, and Lane, who does my teleprompter and basically has become my manager. Mm-hmm. And he's so for it. Also, it goes back to the talent, which is what they call us, is only as talented as the people around them. And if you don't collaborate and become one with your team, you'll never be anything.
How do you suppose you find the real Beni?
Robert, I think that's the $1 million question. And I think a lot of people listening probably struggle.
Are in the same boat. Yeah.
We're going to struggle with it from our entire lives is what I've realized. I go to therapy every single week because I need a soundboard. I need with all these thoughts that I have. And I've really tried to kind of create a separation between who I am at work versus who I am in real life. But I really want to show people who I am in real life. I don't want my mask to be the person that people think they know. I think the only way to learn who you are is just to keep doing it.
Keep taking action. Keep
taking advice from people. Ask for advice from those who are veterans in whatever industry you're in. Ask for advice from mentors. Reach out. Send cold emails to somebody in your industry that you look up to. And just take all the information you can get because that is what is going to create the person that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. I mean, people that are great at what they do, most of the time will help you and give you advice. It's the people that are average at what they do that will hoard their advice.
Don't have time.
Don't have time.
I don't have time. I'm too busy.
Won't say anything for you. But the ones that are super successful and great at what they do What I found, most of them will give you the time.
And they're willing to set aside the time,
Yeah.
even in their busy schedules. I read something the other day where it said millionaires and billionaires and successful people, they respond the quickest.
Mm-hmm.
We tend to think a successful person, oh, they're so busy, they're not going to respond to us. Because success didn't come from not following up. Success didn't come from not responding. It came from hounding. It came from asking.
No doubt about it.
Pushing the boundaries. Pushing. That person is going to answer the phone if you call them because they wanted you to at one point.
Yeah. And I mean, people think that, like you said, they're too busy but they have controlled time rather than managed time. So they prioritize what they need done.
They control their schedule. So if they want to do something, they're going to do it. If they want to talk to someone, they're going to talk to that person.
No doubt about it.
And that really, I think I'm trying to really use that in my everyday life because I have about 2,488 misread text messages.
Right, sure.
And that's from telemarketers and everything. But that's one thing that I'm really working on is when somebody texts me, when I'm thinking about it, text them back right then and there. When I see it pop up, not say, oh, I'll do this later tonight. I'll send that email later. No, send it now.
Yeah,
do it now.
It's so easy to just go down and then it's gone. And then you forget to do it later on. So I'm the same way. I try to
right away.
Out. Let's just get
That's
it done.
One of the things I love about you. When I text you, I know I'm going to get a response.
Right back.
But it builds that trust.
Yeah.
That goes back to that relationship. I know you're going to answer if I text you. I text you, and I hope I'll get to a point where you know I'll answer when you text me.
You do the majority of the time, except for when I text you from a different number and you didn't know who I was.
Right.
Yeah. Who is this again?
I'm sure I know you, but I don't.
Then I look back at, that was my fault. Texted you from a different number. Yeah, you wouldn't know that number.
I would not.
So you mentioned some of the things you're doing personally to elevate yourself. You mentioned the therapy, but what other things do you do personally to help elevate your life?
I am an avid podcast listener every morning. So in my job, I try to get in around 5:36. The first thing I do when I get to the office, I open my computer and I turn on YouTube. I turn on whether it's Diary of a CEO, Mel Robbins, Sean Ryan. I mean, I am always taking in information. Even when you don't think you're taking things in, you are. And so my first thing I do when I get to the office is my makeup. I show up with no makeup, comfies. I show up with my pajamas on. And that is my time to sit there, be in myself and listen. Take in nuggets, plant seeds. Because I don't have a lot of time throughout the day where I can just turn on a podcast. And so my mornings and my nights usually consist of that. And I'm a big note taker. I'm a visualizer. I need to see it and feel it. And so that's why I really like the YouTube. I like to watch and I like to learn about human tendencies. And I found this one girl the other day. She teaches you all about the proper hand things to do. I was listening to her this morning and she said, say you're in a meeting and you're giving a presentation and you see someone in that room do this. I have Botox, so you can't see. But you see someone just, they change their eyes. They go from listening, you see a little twitch. Yeah. Instead of continuing that presentation, you look at that person and you say, what do you think of the information that I just gave you? And they'll be like, actually, and that opens a line of communication, whereas what that person probably was going to say, if you wouldn't have stopped them and asked them, they would have kept that in themselves and held that as tension or whatever.
Yeah, because you struck a chord somehow. When that happens, they struck a chord. You saw it.
And you need to know what they're thinking, right? And so, or you can sit throughout that whole presentation and be like, oh my gosh, well, I wonder what he didn't like about that. I wonder what she didn't like about that, because there was something. And then you start to just create this thing. And then one more is, which I'm sure you know, this with your hands. This with your hands, almost every leader, every successful person, and I notice you do it all the time.
I do.
And I try to do it during my show, but I end up kind of doing like this. Being able to control yourself with your confidence and what you were given is like the most valuable tool you can ever have in your life, because you can only control you. So if you want to make something of yourself and you are looking at your manager and you're like, dude, you are not cut out for this. Like, I could do such a better job. You want to be that person, do the things that they're not doing.
I love it.
And I'm all about growth. Like, people are like, why don't we see you out on the weekends? I'm like, probably reading a book with cup of tea and like a grandma, even though I'm 23 years old.
Busy growing. That's the way you grow.
Yeah. And I don't know, I'm so driven by growth, and I'm actually passionate about growth, whereas people don't want to set the time aside. They want that instant gratification. They want to feel something. I always say there's a reason I haven't dated anyone in 3 years. And I think I use my growth as an excuse. But when you're constantly trying to better yourself, it's hard to be surrounded by people that aren't.
It is.
And that's why people will see me and be like, oh my gosh, where did you go? I'm like, I've been here. I'm just in a completely different circle. We're on 2 different sides. There's 2 groups of people and I'm over here. And I'm not saying I'm better than you for that. I would love to help. Like, please, like if you want advice or growth or a podcast recommendation, I'm your girl. So I would just say never closing yourself off from information and never thinking that you know it all.
Completely agree.
Always. It's like we're at CACC, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would go out in the hallway right now and ask one of these students, hey, what's the biggest thing you've learned in life? I'll take that advice from them because to me, it doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter your position.
No.
It comes from in here. Yeah. Confidence, always growing. You're never the smartest in the room.
No, and you shouldn't be. If you're the
smartest in the wrong room, you're in the wrong room.
You need to get out. Yeah, if you're the smartest or wealthiest in the room, you need to get into a new room and keep getting in new rooms.
You would think people would start to pick that up. As many successful people that have told us that, people still just don't.
No, they stay in the same room.
And I saw something the other day that said, if you're a big fish in a small pond, you're in the wrong pond or something, because I feel like a lot of us settle to be maybe on a pedestal in the place that we're from.
Right.
Or, everybody knows my name here. You can settle for that. You're done growing.
And like you said a little bit ago, the 2 separate groups, if you remain in a group of people that is not growing, you will not grow. Because we're the average of the 5 closest people we hang around with, right? So if you're around...
up who you are.
Yeah, if you're around a lot of people that aren't striving, that aren't growing, that aren't trying to do better for themselves, you're not going to be doing better for yourselves either. So you got to be around the right people.
Yeah, and I had a conversation with a girl I think she's a year younger than me. I had it a couple weeks ago, and she's asking me, oh, did you hear what happened with this person? And oh, what about this person? And oh, I hate this person. And oh, this and oh, that. And I'm like, it's time for me to go home.
Yeah.
I'm like, why? What is the point of this? If you participate in that, I'm sorry, but if you're constantly talking about others, you have no room to grow yourself. You're just giving growth to them in a way and growing their persona and we just have to stop with all of that. And I think that's what separates the 2 groups of people. Some people are sitting here talking about the negatives and talking about the gossip and the rumors and the opinions, and the people over here are talking about the facts and
solutions and finding ways to grow.
Logic, facts has no place in opinion. And so it's really hard to really be able to sit and talk to those people. I'm not saying we're better than people that like to go out. Everybody's on their own time schedule. Everybody's on their own growth journey. I get it as much as anyone. But if there's a fine line, it's tough.
There is. And when you start to be criticized for doing stuff different than everybody else, most of the time it means you're on the right track.
Criticism. I love criticism.
Take some criticism all day long.
I always say, I'm like, the difference between you and I is I look forward to getting called into my boss's office when he has that stern tone. I'm like, yes, okay, let's go. I'm gonna get some. I'm either gonna get some. You need to fix this, and that's just only gonna help me. I look at it as it's a stepping stone. Every single thing.
Yeah.
I love criticism. I wish people could love it as much as we do.
Yeah, you should. You should. It shows you're on the right track. You're pushing the right buttons.
You need no mans.
Getting there. Yeah.
If you only have yes mans in your life, you need new friends.
I like it.
I have my one person that is my no man is my production assistant, Lane, who has kind of become like my manager. He is the only one that has the balls, the courage to say to me, no, you're not. Nope, we are not doing that. Or you need to go do that. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm going to throw a fit. I'm going to tell my boss, I'm not listening to you. And he's like, no, you're not. And I'm like, and then that actually happened yesterday. And afterwards I was like, I'm really glad I did that. I'm really glad I went there because I learned a lot. And he goes, what did I tell you? Or I'll be like, maybe I'll say something super controversial on air. And he goes, I wouldn't do that if I was you. And I'm like, okay.
But when you step out of your comfort zone and really push, that's where the growth happens.
Yeah.
So, but you're talking about the 2 different groups and like kind of that drama conversation, that negativity can just eat you too. It just eats you alive.
Destroys every ounce of everything inside of you. It is, whether you're spiritual, whether you're religious, that is the death of everything. It literally says it in every single Bible and every single spiritual conversation. When you fill yourself with that energy, that's the energy you're going to get. You continue to gossip. You continue to talk poorly about people because that's what you're surrounded with. The second you surround yourself with something else, you'll look at that and be like, why was I doing that? That's insane. What right did I have to even say one thing? And a lot of the people that sit and talk poorly about others, sit and gossip, are the ones that are so insecure and need validated so much that the only thing they can do to get attention is to talk about others. Build yourself up so that you can be the topic of conversation.
I love that. Love it. All right, let's pop back into the show for a minute. So how do you pick your, what the topics you're talking about, the people you're talking to? How does that come about?
That's a really good question because I'm very lucky in my role where I don't have to go in every morning and pitch my stories to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to shoot with a company or I want to do a story, I just do it. I really have a lot of creative control over my show, and it's one of the things I love the most about the show. What I've really had to learn is, as humans, we are all attracted to the things that we're passionate about and the things that fill us up. But you have to think about, who are my viewers? Who is watching this? What can they learn from this? If I do this story, will they learn something? And that's what I base everything off of. It's not about me. I'm just here to deliver a story. And so I've tried to take out that personal passion from it, put myself into others' minds. And it really has separated the I from everything. Because it's one of the things I talk about in therapy a lot. And I'm a big, I believe in therapy 100%, even if you think you don't need it. Just to be able to talk to someone and get an outside perspective. As an on-air personality, people always are putting you on a pedestal. Even though we're in Springfield, Illinois, it's still, oh my gosh, I saw you on, and you were in my living room. Well, no, I wasn't in your living room, but like, you feel close to me and you put me on a pedestal. Oh my gosh, like just in the hallway, the people were like, the young girls were like, oh my God, that's a girl with Fox News.
Right.
They automatically put you on that pedestal, and it can become very, very involved because everything is about you. The show is your face. People are coming to you to run things by you. It's me. What do you want? You. That you become that way too. And you're like, holy crap, I have become so selfish, only thinking about myself. So when it comes to stories, that's how I pick them. I think about, how could this impact other people? How could this impact somebody else? And that's when I know that I'm on the right track with a story.
I love it. So how do those stories, sometimes they're very personal. Sometimes they're things that people had no idea were happening in Springfield. How does this storytelling and highlighting this elevate our community?
I've grappled with this question a lot because the mark I want to leave here is that I impacted somebody. Knowledge is power. And we all know this. Learning, growth is power. And informing the public of things that they had no idea about were happening, all that is doing is building them up and helping them grow. And so pouring into others to teach them something, I think that is at least how I hope that Marketplace elevates the community. Whether it's a customer service association or a first responder story, I want to be teaching someone something. And if I can teach people in our community something or just inform them, I think I'm doing my job.
You are definitely doing your job, and it's definitely elevating the community. I will tell you that right now. Do you have any, you talked about the first responders, but do you have any kind of favorite types of spots that you do, that you like to do? I've seen you do the first responders. I've seen you do like cheerleading with a cheerleading squad. I've seen you do cooking. I've seen you do so many different things. Are there any that you're like, and I really loved doing that?
I think it's important to be able to do them all and to find what you like in every story, because my boss tells me all the time, you're not going to love everything you report on.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be like the other day they brought me a story about Barbies. And I was like, Barbies? I'm not a Barbie girl.
Sure.
I am a tomboy through and through. I grew up with two brothers. I want the rough around the edges, rigid stories, and they want me to do a Barbie story. And I'm like, instead of looking at it as, you joking? You want me to do that? I look at it as, maybe I could learn something. Maybe there's a part of this woman that it is all about these Barbies that somebody else would relate to. And so I think going back to taking myself out of the equation, I do all the different things that I do because every single person is different. Someone that relates to a first responder story, because maybe one of their family members is a first responder, may not relate to a Barbie story. But then the artistic, creative people that love movies would love the Barbie story. Or the underserved population in Springfield will love to learn about organization on the east side of town that they can literally drop their kids at, and their kids will be taken care of and have a warm dinner. And so the shoe doesn't fit everyone. And so personally, the things that fill me up are the adrenaline, the hard stories, the investigative, something horrible happened. How can we come together as a community to make this a good? And that's what I've really been trying to touch on lately. And you can do it in so many different ways. It doesn't have to be a tragedy, but I think any story that makes me feel like this community is one is something that really fills me as a human. That's what fills my cup so that I can do the other stuff that I don't really enjoy. But I think, Robert, as I'm thinking about this, I think politics and being in DC, I think that's the reason I'm so interested and involved in our first responders, because I watched laws try to be passed every single day. I watched police officers come into our buildings and knock on our congressman's door because their pension was trying to be taken away, or they're struggling with mental health and they can't talk to anyone, and they want other first responders to be able to feel supported. And I think where it comes from is the lack of support that our people on the ground have. We can on social media say, oh, happy National First Responder Day, all we want. But at the end of the day, how are we helping those that just saw this tragedy in Chatham? How are we, makes me want to cry. How are we helping the ones that arrived first on scene and protected you from having to see all of that? And they had to go around and hold families back and help a mom find their kid. Those are the ones that never get talked about. We talk about the ones that lost the child. It's all equally important. But being the voice for those people, I truly think that is why I was put into this career.
Absolutely. On the CACC side, we actually, as part of our EMT program, we had students that are in that program that were on the scene as part of the first responders. So just the weight of that.
The amount of training that was that day, they had, I think, Springfield Fire had 3 or 4 rookies on scene. Yeah.
Heavy time for Chatham. Thoughts and prayers to everybody.
But I would really like to. That's one of the things I'm working on right now is giving time to heal, but finding a way to honor all of those who were involved in this incident, from the first responders to the families to. Do you want to hear something about our community real quick? I don't think anybody realizes this happened.
Yeah.
Springfield. So Chatham and Springfield work really closely. Chatham's police department only has a few people, like the chief and 2 deputies or whatever. When that all happened, all of Chatham's resources went to that center. It literally blows my mind. Springfield sent Springfield fire engines to run all of Chatham's fire calls. Springfield police sent over 10 officers to patrol Chatham while all Chatham's officers were at the scene. So during that whole incident, Chatham was being monitored and run by Springfield because they stepped up. These Springfield Fire Department, I mean, they're taking their massive rigs and trying to keep them at a Chatham Fire Department because it doesn't stop when one thing happens.
Right.
And the way I have full body chills. The way that our community rallied together, it's what I do. It's the most beautiful thing in tragedy. It's beautiful things. We need to start focusing on the beauty that comes from pain, because that's where real growth is.
I had no idea that happened. And probably nobody really, not very many people.
No, and so I'm definitely going to, it's in the works right now, but that doesn't get talked about, Robert.
No,
nobody talks about that. Did you know that the Springfield Police Department has partnered with the ATF? There's so many. We could do a full segment on all the things people don't know in this town, because I would love to tell people things that I've learned, and I'm just like the way our Springfield Police Department works with the FBI and works with our national like how important our departments are to the state of Illinois. Like Springfield is number 2 beneath Chicago for everything. And people just don't realize. They just do not realize the amount of what the people on the ground do in this town. It's mind-blowing.
We have
So
to do a full episode on that.
full episode, yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. But the Chatham thing, I'm glad I shared that because I really want people to know that.
What's on tap for Marketplace moving forward? Anything cool coming up, or any new things you're going to be trying out soon?
We're going to be trying a lot of new things, a lot of substance things. They really want me to do more fluff, but I'll do fluff, but I also need the hard-hitting stuff. And tomorrow, actually, I got an exclusive sit-down with Police Chief Ken Scarlett, who's retiring. It will air at 11:30, and it's a 20-minute all about his career, his advice to this community, his initiatives that he put into place that people don't know about, and really just what's next for him. And there's some breaking exclusive news that's going to be in that nobody has heard yet. At the end of the day, I want people to send me what they want me to report on. If you have a story, and that's one of the beauty of my Facebook Messenger, the amount of people that feel like they can share their stories with me. So anybody that's watching this, if they have a story for me, send them my way. I just take it a day at a time. If I get too far ahead of myself, it takes away from the present and it takes away from the story of the day. And so there's a lot of ideas being floated around, a lot of random stuff from farm wives to police to fire to me maybe literally going inside a burning building.
Okay.
People may get to see. But yeah, with summer coming, there's just a lot. Marketplace is not slowing down. If anything, it's picking up. And I'm really trying to build things that are worth watching and not just fillers, not just fluff, but be that community person for Springfield. I'm from here. This is my home. That's what people don't understand. It means more to me than just being on TV. I just love the art of getting to tell my hometown stories. Like, what? How? And I always say to people, like, I'm just a girl from Salisbury. Grew up a little redneck, running around feeding chickens and horses.
Sure.
And I tried to show people were like, no way you like grew up on a farm. I'm like, let me show you. But yeah, I want to support this community in whatever way I possibly can. And that is stories. That is telling stories to a broader audience. Oh, for example, I'm going to give you one more example to look forward to. June is Infertility Awareness Month. And a big story with a couple who struggles with, has been all through IVF, through infertility and everything. And they're right here local. They've started like a fund for people to give them money for IVF treatments. And that just shows the scope, like, of the different types of stories. Moms trying to get pregnant with babies and firefighters.
Right.
You know, I'm so grateful that I get to have the ability to do it all and not just be, oh, you just have to read off a teleprompter.
Right.
You don't get to go out in the field. Or, oh, you're just a certain reporter and that's it.
Springfield and our region are certainly fortunate to have you telling those stories.
Oh, you stopped gassing me up.
One more thing I want to touch on before we start to close out here, though, and you mentioned a second ago Facebook Messenger, but you do a lot on social. We've talked about some things, how you elevate your professional life, but how do you use social to kind of build your brand?
It is the greatest and worst tool ever created.
Sure.
The greatest and the worst. As many negatives as it has, when you learn how to control the media instead of letting the media control you, you will be as successful as you possibly can be, because it is a tool given to us that can change your freaking life. I get annoyed with myself sometimes because I'll do something and I'm like, I need to snap something so I can post it. But the more people see your face, use it to your advantage, like as non-manipulative as possible.
Right, of course.
You know, make people see your face constantly. If they don't see you, they don't know what you're doing. They don't know how you can help them. They don't know what your purpose is. And not only connecting with people in our same communities, but connecting with people across the world that are doing what you're doing. I have anchor friends and news friends in I have one I talk to every day. She lives in California and we're like besties. We've never met in real life, but we connect through our work. And the more you push your work out, the more people you can connect with, the more relationships you can build. And that only strengthens and builds your career and your industry even further. Especially if you're a business owner, social media it should be your best friend.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Business, that social media, you should act as though it is your shadow. I mean, it should go everywhere with you. All it takes is one post and one hashtag to put you on the page of somebody of a growing massive company in California that wants to buy your company or a software. Social media is your best friend, but do not let it consume you, because it is the death to creativity, the death to comparison, the death to motivation. As great as it is, you have to know how to filter out the bad.
Because it's easy to be consumed by it.
And scroll. And we're beating a dead horse at this point. All we talk about is how we need to stop scrolling. But I find, I do like Instagram Reels. I love Instagram Reels to hear little podcast clips.
Yep.
But I would definitely take 2 hours, an hour of the day where you're not on your phone and you're not scrolling. Like I do it like my 2 hours before bed. It's when I shut the world off and really just be still in myself.
As long as you've taken the time earlier in the day to knock out that social, you know it. I'm right there with you.
My mom told me the other day, she goes, you have to be so careful what you see on social media, because even if you feel like it's really good because you're getting all this information, she goes, like the information you're getting, you could see one thing and it contradicts the next thing that you see.
Sure.
And then the next thing that you see, it doesn't. They're telling you completely opposites from what works for other people. So take the pieces, take the seeds that work for you and leave the rest.
Yeah, because the way the algorithms work too is, it's made to enforce what you're already believing sometimes. So what you see on your, what you see on your feed is directly toward, of course that's what it is.
That's right. No, but you really weren't.
Right. Exactly. Well, let's close with this, Beni. We've had a bunch of takeaways so far, but I'd like for you to give us one more thing from your personal side and your professional side, one more tip to help folks elevate their life or their business.
For both, I would say the biggest thing, fuck what everyone else thinks. Who fucking cares? You are not living for them. You're living for you. The other thing is serve others and you'll find your purpose, because the key to finding purpose within yourself is helping others. It is the way we were created as human beings. If you want anything to succeed, you want your business to succeed, people. Connect with people. And I always say, going back to the relationships thing, I just made a big post on Facebook about it. Build meaningful relationships built on trust, built on loyalty. Have close people that you know support you. You don't have to do it alone, but also fuck everybody.
I love it.
And I struggle with this literally. That's one of the things I talk about with my therapist every darn week. I told her, I said, I don't care if people think. She goes, I said, I don't. She goes, are you sure? She goes, just your tone. She goes, you have to learn to not care. And as easy as it's said, it's not easy to do.
Right.
Especially when you're on TV every day and your job is for people to basically be judging you. Yeah. Do what you want. Love what you love. Chase your passion. Do not do things for money. Do it because you love it, and that will bring you money. Don't you agree with the service thing, though?
Oh, absolutely.
You can be so miserable. Sometimes you'll be so miserable when you feel like you're so successful. Why do I feel so empty? Why? I have people wanting me to do this, and I have people coming to me, but I feel miserable because you're so self-absorbed. You're not serving anybody else. Isn't it crazy how the second you do something kind for someone, whether it's holding a door, buying them a drink at Starbucks, paying for the person behind you, you automatically are like, oh, that felt good.
Yeah, it lifts you up and motivates you. No doubt about it.
And I think we were created for that purpose,
Completely agree.
So follow me on Facebook for all the tips.
That's right. I love it. Well, Beni, remind us when the show is and everything, where they can find the show.
Monday through Friday, 11:30 on News Channel 20. Hope you have a great rest of your day. I will see you tomorrow. No. 11:30, News Channel 20, and then all over socials. I'm very active. Post all the segments, so even if you can't catch all the stuff on TV, same day, everything will be up. And then also follow me for my personal life. Maybe one day I'll get a boyfriend and actually have like a personal life. Right now, it's just me, myself, and I, and my cup of tea and
growing. Working and growing.
Your 20s, are for growth. 20s are not the best years of your life. They might be the worst and
Right.
the hardest. And it's okay. If you are in your 20s, it's okay. Freaking struggle. Cry. This is the time to learn.
Yeah. Grind it out.
Grind it out. Well, Robert, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you for spending some time with us this afternoon, Benny.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
To
it.
elevate our lives.
You know it.
You know, guys, I am going to say something. I'm so glad we came up with the or you came up with the elevate. But we were going to do it.
It was going to be the, yeah.
But I'm really glad that you stuck with it because I think this could really become something.
Absolutely. And we're going to partner in a lot of ways anyway. We're going to figure stuff out to do.
Lots to come with me and Robert, so stay tuned.
No doubt about it. Well, everybody, we're going to let Benny get back to elevating Springfield. And for the rest of y'all, we'll see you after the break. Hey, everybody, if you like what you've heard so far, hey, join us over on Facebook. We have a group and a page over there. You can also join our free community where we will bring you additional insights and strategies to help you elevate your life, your business, and ultimately our community. You can find that link in the show notes. We would love to have you join us. Let's get back to it. All right, how about that, everybody? Beni Harmony, so many great takeaways. A lot of it right in line with 10X thoughts, teachings, and strategies. But hey, if you haven't watched Marketplace in the last year since Benny took that over, hey, make sure you check her out at 11:30 weekdays on News Channel 20. So much great stuff happening in our community, and she's bringing it to you every single day. You know, her and I have a lot in common when it comes to that. Love telling the stories of who are doing great things in Springfield in our area. So just to reiterate some of what she talked about, like I said, right in line with 10X strategies. That one there toward the end where she's talking about have your face out there all the time on social. We've talked about that before. Talked about being omnipresent, being everywhere all at once. And social media is tailor-made for you to be able to do that. If people don't know you, they can't do business with you. And like Benny said, if people don't know you and see you, they don't know what your purpose is and they don't know how you can help them. So make sure you make that a priority, especially if you have a business. Build that brand through social media. It is a prime avenue for you to do that. Be omnipresent. Be committed to being out there every single day, multiple times a day. That way people know exactly what you do. They know your purpose and they know how you can help them. Another thing she talked about was serving others. We've talked about that before, right? How motivating it can be for us to just simply help others. If we're ever kind of in a funk, need a quick pick me up, right? A quick way to do that, one of the fastest ways to get your mind right, to get you back in gear, is to help someone else. And like Benny said, it could be something as small as opening up a door for somebody or buying somebody a coffee, right? Help others every single day. I've done a tip of the day on that. Certainly encourage everybody to do the same, because if everybody would do that, this world would be a much better place. And then along the lines of service, talked about serving others. We also want to serve our clients well. Service over selling, right? We talked about that quite a bit, making sure we are serving our clients to the highest degree possible, not just trying to sell them our product or service. We want to make sure that their best interest is at heart, and using your product or service may be what's best for them, but it's not the sole reason you are working with them. It's not just to sell them, it's to serve them. And a lot of times, if you have a great product or service and you believe in that product or service, that is the best way to serve them, to make sure they are utilizing what you have to offer. We also talked about gossip and negativity. You've heard that from me multiple times, right? No negativity allowed. I'm wearing my no negativity allowed bracelet as I'm speaking right now. That negativity will eat you. Only positivity should be allowed in all your environments. And like Benny was alluding to, sometimes that means that you are no longer with the same people that you've been around. All right. You have to be able to cut ties with the folks that continue to wallow in the negativity, because if you are part of that, you're not going to be able to grow. So, hey, stay out of that negative space. Make sure you are only in a positive space and the people around you are positive, because that's going to allow you and everyone around you to grow. And while we're talking about that, it's not just the negative people you need to stay away from. It's the people that are no longer wanting to grow or have no interest in growing at all. She mentioned a lot about those kind of two groups of people. One group of people that are content with where they're at, content with sitting there and gossiping about people, content with maybe going out and partying and not really worrying about growth or expansion. And then there's the other group that's constantly wanting to grow, constantly wanting to expand, constantly wanting to learn, right? And that's where we want to be. We want to be in that learn, grow, expand category, which most of the time means that the people that are not in that same mindset, that are not looking for those same things, you are cutting those folks out of your life. That could be friends, that could be family, that could be customers and clients, that could be employees, but we need to be able to be strong and cut ties with folks that aren't helping you get to where you need to be. We also talked about telling your story. I've touched on this a little bit, but I haven't really talked about it too much in terms of the 10X mindset when it comes to telling your story. Like she mentioned, you have to have a story. That's the way people learn your purpose. That's the way people get to know you, to want to be able to do business with you, to partner with you, to collaborate. You have to tell your story. Nobody's going to do it for you. You have to do it. And like I mentioned a moment ago, social media is a prime way to do that. You can tell your story every day. Every single day, you can hop on and tell your story on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever your favorite platform. And if you're 10X, it should be all of them, right? So tell your story. Tell your story every day. Tell your story to everyone you meet. Tell your story to kids so they can hopefully learn something from your path. But again, nobody's going to do it for you. You got to be able to tell your story. Finally, stay uncomfortable. Push the boundaries. Push the envelope. Beni mentioned a lot about, kind of pushing toward the edges when it comes to her boss or, her superiors, things like that. How we have to remain comfortable in the uncomfortable. We have to remain comfortable in the pushing the envelope, because when we are pushing, when we are striving, when we are getting on the outer edges of our comfort zone, that's where the real growth happens. And that's a lot of times where the biggest jumps, the biggest advances in your career and life will be. Playing it safe. You might have a slow, gradual increase, but most of the time when you take risks, push the envelope, push the boundaries of what's possible, push the boundaries of what you think you can do, that's when the real jump happens. That's when the exponential happens. That's when the 10X happens. So, hey, let's try more of that today, and we'll be right back with more after the break. Looking for the pulse of Central Illinois? Welcome to News Channel 20's Marketplace, your go-to source for lifestyle news and everything community. They're shining a spotlight on local stories, small businesses, and the people who make our neighborhoods thrive. Join Beni Harmony weekdays at 11:30 on Marketplace, where heart meets hometown. It's more than news. It's your community. Well, thank you for joining us today, everybody. Appreciate you making us a part of your day. Hey, how about Beni Harmony? She was phenomenal. Make sure you check her out weekdays at 11:30 on News Channel 20. If you want to hear more Elevate Springfield, hey, just head over to your favorite podcast outlets. Search for Elevate Springfield. Should be able to find us. While you're there, give us a like and subscribe. We'd certainly appreciate it. Today, I'll give you a lot of actionable strategies from Beni. You take those actionable strategies, add the discipline and follow through, and together, we're going to elevate Springfield. We'll see you next time. Be great.